As the leaves start to change and the air becomes a little crisp, it can only mean one thing. Cross racing season is here. In Wisconsin, we've already had 3 races, and riders chasing UCI points have already had 2 weekends on the East Coast. But it remains one of the most challenging aspects of cyclocross is mid-week training. What do you do? How can you continue to sharpen your form and skills while still recovering from the weekend's racing? It can be a complicated dance to fit in strength, yoga, intervals, and endurance to help build your fitness, strength, and performance. So let's talk about it. Welcome to Simple Endurance Coaching. Unleash your Everyday Athlete video podcast. I'm Paul Worlowski, head coach and owner of Simple Endurance Coaching, and each week we talk about one thing that seems to be working for everyday cyclists and runners to empower ordinary people to achieve extraordinary fitness and performance. Subscribe to the podcast and sign up on the website simpleendurancecoaching.com for a free core strength and stability video. Here's this week's podcast. What are the challenges of cyclocross racing? There's a lot of challenges for cyclocross. Besides the fact that you're riding on ever-changing terrain, you're going from grass to mud to a hill to a slick little off-camber. There's always something changing on a cross course. The races are fast, they're intense. You basically start fast and you stay fast. You're redlined most of the race. You have to be able to stay focused. You have to be able to adapt on the fly because the conditions can be unpredictable. You can have a corner that was perfectly fine the first lap, but then it starts to rain or mist or something, and it's no longer rideable on the line that you chose the first time. Plus the duration of the races, while it's 30 or 40 or 45 minutes, whatever it might be, you have to figure out how you can meter out the intensity. You can't be 100% the entire race. This is not physically possible. So you've got to figure out, well, where can I save a little bit of energy? Where can I rest for just a moment, catch my breath, and keep going? Why is recovery so important during the season? So if I'm going to think about the midweek, the biggest thing is recovery, especially if you do 2 races. Sometimes you double up on races. Recovery is crucial. Here are some ways that you can recover from racing. The key is prioritizing sleep. Get a lot of it, and make sure that you are sleeping in a dark room, that you're taking enough time during your day to be able to get good, solid sleep. Prioritize active recovery, yoga, get some good walks in. Prioritize rest days when you're not doing anything except maybe sitting on the couch, maybe going for a walk. Make sure that you're getting enough good nutrition. For instance, after hard workouts, get a protein shake at night before you go to bed. Let the protein work and help rebuild the muscles. Recovery starts right after your race. Clean up, get changed after your race, after you cool down, and begin to start the recovery process, whether you do a little bit of active yoga mobility work, whether you do a little bit of walking around. Just keep it simple. Start eating, start drinking. On Monday, when I was a teacher, I would wear compression tights all during class on Monday because I was on my feet the whole day. So I knew that I wasn't going to be able to rest, so I had a little bit of extra with the compression tights. How should you schedule intervals during the week? Intervals are tough. Intervals are critical to do, especially ones that are specific for cyclocross, but it depends on your training and racing schedule. Me as an old guy, if I'm racing 2 or 3 or 4 times during the weekend, I'm not doing any intervals during the week. I am resting. I'm doing endurance work. I'm doing maybe some spin-ups, keep my legs fresh. so that those twice a week races might be enough. So it depends on how much racing you're doing. Regardless, if you're going to do an interval session, especially if you're younger or if you're an elite rider, plan the hard interval sessions midweek. Listen to your body, adjust your interval schedule. But when it comes down to it, you're going to prioritize what? Yep, you're going to prioritize recovery. That's the key. Because if you don't recover during these double weekends, you're going to dig yourself into a hole. What are the best intervals for in-season cyclocross training? The best intervals for in-season cross training are cross-related. Doing 30-30-30s, where you are doing 30-minute intervals, running for doing 30 seconds. This would be horrible for 30 minutes. 30-second interval on the bike, 30-second run, 30-second recover, and repeating those. Good cross practices are great interval sessions. If you do the hard sessions, you do the starts, you do the hot laps. You can also do my favorite cyclocross workout or soccer field sprints, where you start on one corner, you sprint as hard as you can like a start, take the corner hard, recover around the back, just pedal easy around the back of the goal, jump around the next corner, sprint down that line, harder on the corner, and just keep doing that. Start for 6 minutes, maybe even 4 minutes. Do it one way, do it the other way. Then do it the original way, and then go back and do it. Like 4 sets of 4 minutes. But then, each week during the season, build up that volume so that you end up doing these sprints for the same duration as your races. So if I'm racing for 40 minutes, I'm going to do 4 times 10. If I'm doing 45 minutes or 55 minutes, I'll adjust those accordingly. Maybe 6 times, 8 minutes? 6 times 9 minutes. So creating that same kind of volume for race season. How should you include strength training for cross? Yes, you should continue to do strength training in season. Obviously, you're going to stop before the really key events and give your legs a complete break. But here are some things to think about. Prioritize compound exercises, deadlifts, front squats, or having kettlebells or dumbbells and holding them at your shoulders as in a goblet squat. Push-ups, pull-ups, exercises that work a variety of joints. That's what you're looking for. Plyometric exercises, including kettlebell swings, if you choose to do those. Plyometrics are basically jumping and explosive kind of training, and those are great for cross because we're always jumping out of the saddle. And finally, make sure you are doing core work. Shameless plug, sign up for the blog in the notes below to get my core strength and stability video by signing up for the weekly newsletter. What kind of yoga is good to help cross racers recover and get stronger? Yoga is something, there's really 2 ways of doing it, and it's really good to help your cross racing. The first is recovery yoga. And recovery yoga is something that we do after hard workouts, during the weekend if it's a Saturday, Sunday race, on Saturday night, sometimes Sunday you don't have a chance because you're driving home, and on Mondays to help you speed your recovery. So you can do this, it's 10 to 15 minutes at the most of movement based on your breathing. It helps so many ways of speeding recovery. The other way of doing yoga is as a strength session to replace strength training. And if you do a vinyasa or a flow kind of class, they're great for the strength training that you get out of it. Just don't do more strength training. Use that as your strength training class, as your strength training session, as it were. What about endurance training for in-season cyclocross racing? The one thing that I haven't talked about so far is staying on top of your endurance riding. You need to keep the endurance both to maintain your fitness and to continue to be able to build fitness, because that creates the capacity for you to go hard. And the more endurance that you can put in, the better off you will be. So stay on top of your endurance riding. Generally, Tuesdays and Thursdays are a good day for longer endurance days. Wednesday, if you've done double weekends and you're not going to do intervals, Wednesdays are great days to get into 3-4 hours endurance. If you are racing Saturday but not Sunday, then the Sunday is a great time to get in a 2 to 4 hour easy ride. Likewise, if there's a weekend you're not going to race, just go do easy rides, as much volume as you possibly can. How should I schedule a training week if I'm racing on the weekends? So here's how you can schedule, or here's how you can think about scheduling a training week if you're racing on the weekends. Number one, prioritize recovery and endurance. That's the key. Recovery and endurance. Number two, if you have the energy, get in a high intensity session. Number three, continue your strength training, even if it's yoga. Number four, yoga recovery. I'll be doing Monday recovery yoga sessions for my clients. Your recovery yoga can also happen on weekends and after any hard sessions. How should I put together a schedule for training for cyclocross? So here's how you might, this is one way, and this is not gospel, but this is one way that you might organize your week. So Monday is either a rest day, easy pedaling with some yoga recovery. And Tuesday, endurance training. Get some miles in, easy pedaling. There is no stress. Your heart rate's going to stay below 130, if not less. Wednesday, you might do some intervals. You might do cyclocross practice. And if you do, those are great days to do your strength training, because then you're going to have a hard day. And then you can use Thursday and Friday to recover from those so that you're ready for the weekend. Thursday is an endurance day or possibly another rest day, depending on how you're feeling. Friday is pre-race preparation. This is where you're doing some shorter, intense efforts to prime your system physiologically and getting your muscles and your central nervous system, getting everything ready to go for Saturday so that your body knows what's coming. And Saturday and Sunday are race days. Yoga recovery, if you can do it on a Saturday, if you're racing on Sunday. Thanks for watching this edition of the Simple Endurance Coaching video podcast, Unleash Your Everyday Athlete. I am Paul Werlowski, head coach and owner of Simple Endurance Coaching, and each week we talk about one thing that's working for everyday cyclists and runners to empower ordinary people to achieve extraordinary fitness and performance. Check out the full article on my blog, linked in the notes below. And get a free core strength and stability training video when you opt in to receive my weekly newsletter from Unleash the Everyday Athlete about what works in endurance sports. Sign up below for a virtual coffee if you want to talk more about your goals, ask some questions, and talk about making your endurance training more effective, fun, and simple with a capital S. Thanks, and I'll see you out in the road.